The Switch eShop already has a great lineup of indie titles, and it can be hard when sifting through the eShop to find something that you want to check out, but GoNNER has one thing going for it right off the bat. It has a really unique look. The color scheme, the art design in general, all of it is just really interesting looking to me. And I remember when GoNNER was first revealed a while ago for other platforms, I was like, ooh, this looks kind of unique, this looks kind of interesting. So it stayed on my radar, but I never had a chance to check it out for other platforms just because of work and other things going on. And when I found out it was coming to Switch, I was like, oh, well, I'll hold off until then. So, as you saw a few days ago, I was playing the Switch version of GoNNER, and since then I've been playing more, and if you watched that original video, you saw the very first time that I played, so I had no idea what was going on. And I said in that video, hopefully I'll have an idea of what's going on the more I play, and that's definitely the case. I spent a lot of time with it, I've really enjoyed what I've played, and it's definitely a game that keeps me coming back. I don't remember which developers said it, but it's a quote that's been around for a long time now. The first 30 seconds of a game are the most important. When you're trying to rope in players to get interested in your game and keep them hooked and get them coming back to play more, those first 30 seconds matter. And GoNNER does a great job of showing you a lot of what it has to offer within those first 30 seconds. You get to see that there's platforming, you get to see that there's shooting, you get to see that there's, a good challenge in there, and you get enough hooks in the way of mysterious items and abilities and stuff that it makes you scratch your head and you're like, oh, I want to figure this stuff out, I want to see what this does, I want to learn what the game's trying to tell me. And that little gameplay bite that you get of the running around, jumping, and shooting is engaging enough that you want to keep going back in and seeing how far you can take it. As I said in my bite-sized video about GoNNER, the game doesn't really go out of its way to explain things to you. You'll learn what jump and shoot are, that's easy enough, but there's icons and items and interactions that aren't explicitly explained to you, and I like that. You'll have to figure these things out on your own, and you can see in that video that I did that I was unsure what some of those things are, but the more you play, you learn what those things are. You pay closer attention to whatever the icons are that are popping up on screen, and I don't want to take that away from the player. I like I said, I like to learn that stuff on my own, so I want you guys to learn it as well, but that goes along with the intriguing nature of the game. I just like being able to figure stuff out on my own. So, as you're playing and shooting stuff and going through stages, you'll realize, oh, that's what that thing means, or oh, that's what this does. And it's fun. It's part of the fun of the game. I appreciate when a game does that because not too many games nowadays take that route. I mean, obviously there's different things to pick up that will give you different styles of play. There's different items you can pick up / buy. There's different masks or heads, whatever you want to call them, that you can pick up that give you different abilities. But you aren't going to know what those are until you grab them and use them. So it's not like you can look at a weapon you're about to purchase and be like, alright, so it has this much firepower and I use it in this way. It's just, here's this thing. Do you want to get it? And you get it and you try it and you're like, oh, this sucks. Or, oh, I really like this thing. For example, I eventually found out what the different heads in the game do, or masks, like I said, whatever you want to call them. But they give you different abilities when you're playing in all different ways. So one of them, for example, will allow you to, I think it was triple jump, but it also changes how you control in the air. So you might be able to, without this mask / head, you might be able to jump up and shoot upwards or straight ahead, but this certain mask makes it so that when you jump, you shoot downwards, so it completely changes how you're reacting in the air. And these different heads will give you different types of play styles. So like I said, you'll find one and it'll be really annoying and you can't get used to it. Or you'll find one and you're like, oh, this really makes the game for me. So it's about finding those out on your own. And like a few other games that I've talked about recently, you find the combination of things that really work well for you. The type of gameplay you want to have, like the type of shooting mechanic you want to have. Rapid fire or big burst or stuff like that, or the type of controls you want to have in the air, a double jump, a triple jump, a slower character, stuff like that. And some of that stuff can be luck of the draw as far as what you find out there when you're playing, because the game is randomly generated. But it's fun because once you collect that stuff, if you die, and you're gonna die a lot, you'll be able to start up your game again with the items that you want, so a particular head or a particular weapon, and take it from there. And once you find the combination that works best for you, you'll be able to get a little bit further into the game and explore areas you haven't seen before. Back in my Tumbleseed review, I said I felt the difficulty of that game was tipped a little bit too far in the direction of the game rather than the player. And with GoNNER, I feel the difficulty is absolutely perfect. This is how I factor in difficulty for a game. So when I'm playing, I could get to a room and I'm like, oh my god, there's no way I'm going to do this, and I die right away. And I go there and I die a handful of times. But, you know, it's part of the process. You're like, okay, I know when I get to this specific portion of the game, there's going to be this kind of challenge. And now that I've learned what items I want to use and what abilities I like to have, I can go in here and approach it this way. So you get to, you know, that type of enemy again, or that type of platforming portion, and you're like, okay, I'm going to approach it this way now. And you go in there and you kick ass, and you're like, oh, now I found something that works for me. So when I happen upon these guys, I'll be more ready for it. So things that start off seemingly ridiculously difficult at first are easy to tackle later on because you've figured out a plan. You've been playing the game, you've learned what works for you, and you're better to address it later on. So that's the type of challenge that I really enjoy. That's the type of experience I feel is hard to nail down, and GoNNER does a really great job of it. So I know a lot of people are looking for information like, is there a definite ending, or does this game just go on forever and you die and you try it again for another high score? There's endings. There's a lot to factor in. I don't want to say there's like there's it's spoiler territory. What I will say is it's not just looping over and over and over forever. There's things to get and certainly things to see that will be more engaging for people who are looking for a more definite conclusion to a game, like a beginning, middle, and an end. Yeah, you'll get that experience, but what will probably happen is you'll go through and be like, well, why did this happen? Why did that happen? And you'll go in and you'll play more to collect other things and see if you can change the way things turn out at the end. So, like I said, I don't want to spoil things, but yeah, it's not, you know, forever randomly generated in the sense that you just do the same stages over and over again and you just go on forever. So there's things to do for those who like a more regimented experience. All in all, I really enjoy GoNNER. It's an engaging experience. It keeps you coming back. It gives you plenty of fun while you're playing. There's lots of stuff to learn about. The visuals are experimental, and the audio is experimental. I know that's not going to tickle everybody's fancy, but the core gameplay itself should be really engaging to a large amount of people. So if you look at the game and you're not down with the visuals, or you don't like what you hear in the soundtrack, I think the gameplay mechanics themselves and the intrigue and mystery that's going on there and the exploration stuff should be enough to woo you into a better experience. Yeah, I'm glad I waited on GoNNER. I liked what I played. I'm gonna have plenty of reason to go back. Plus, there's daily challenges that set you up with like a specific head and a specific weapon and ability that you go through to see how far you can make it, and you get a daily challenge, or you get a score. And there's leaderboards as well that'll be activated later on. So there's a lot of replay value to be had here, depending on, you know, how far you want to push solo, or how far you want to go through, or how much you're interested in daily challenges and stuff like that. So GoNNER is another awesome indie title to hit the Switch. There's plenty of them out there, and I've shown you a lot that are well worth your time, and I add GoNNER to that list. Hey guys, RMC here from GoNintendo. If you like what you saw in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe? We'd love to have you. If you want to see what else we're up to, you can check out GoNintendo.com for 24-hour Nintendo news. You can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/GoNintendo. You can check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/GoNintendoTweet. And we're even over on Instagram at instagram.com/GoNintendo. I put all the links in the description just to make it easier for you guys to follow. Thanks a lot.